Chile's government has temporarily banned the consumption of sardines in the south of the country after millions of dead fish turned up floating along the shores of the Cailo River. At the weekend, the authorities began clearing the shorelines. Experts are still investigating the cause of death and any possible risk to human health.
We're going to move on now to Houston, America's fourth largest city, overwhelmed by historic flooding. At least 6 people are dead, more than 1,000 homes underwater tonight, and in some areas the water is still rising. There have been hundreds of rescues across dozens of neighborhoods. This family evacuated just this morning. Even this 12-wheeler truck was no match for the rushing water. ABC's Philip Mena is in Houston tonight, where the rescues are still underway.
Tonight, the nation's fourth largest city still swamped by what scientists are calling a 1 in 500-year flood. Emergency officials say they've made nearly 2,000 water rescues in the last 36 hours, including 45 residents of a nursing home. And hundreds at apartment complexes pulled from the rising floodwaters. For the last 20 hours, rescue workers have been going by boat to get people out of the flood zone and into safety. Officials here say they have lost count of how many trips they've made.
Moms and kids, y'all come up first.
By the truckload, parents, children, pets rushed to safety. More than 1,000 homes flooded. 240 billion gallons of water falling in 24 hours has even animals struggling to survive. Cows corralled by airboats herded to safety. Nearly 100 horses from one stable close to drowning. Frantic rescues getting them to dry land.
For me, these aren't just horses. I mean, they're part of the family.
At least 6 people are dead from these floods, nearly all victims of driving into floodwaters, making families all the more thankful to be alive.
You feel helpless. You just feel so helpless, and you're just happy. We're a good family. God answers prayers.
George, the system that's bringing all of this rain is barely moving, and with more rain on the way, it doesn't take much to trigger flash flooding like this.
The latest now on Curt Schilling, the former baseball all-star fired by ESPN after sharing an offensive message on social media. It is not the first time his comments have caused a controversy, and ABC's Eva Pilgrim has his story.
He became a hero defeating the Yankees in a bloody sock.
A perfect 5th inning for Curt Schilling.
But this morning, Curt Schilling finds himself in a mess he can't pitch his way out of. ESPN firing the sportscaster after the former number 38 shared this meme on social media, referencing the recent North Carolina law barring transgender people from using bathrooms or locker rooms which don't correspond with the gender on their birth certificate. He added his own commentary to the post, writing, "A man is a man no matter what they call themselves. Now you need laws telling us differently? Pathetic." ESPN put out a statement saying ESPN is an inclusive company. His conduct was unacceptable. This incident just the latest in a long line of social media gaffes for the former superstar. Just last August, ESPN suspended Schilling from Little League coverage after he tweeted out a controversial comment linking Nazis to Muslim extremists. And earlier last year, Schilling became the target of internet trolls when he posted a proud tweet about a 17-year-old daughter's college acceptance.
I grew up playing sports. I know what it means to be a guy. Never in my life have I ever uttered half of the words that these guys were posting.
He took screenshots of those mean tweets and posted them to his blog.
It wasn't a mistake. It was a conscious decision to be an idiot and to say some pretty evil stuff.
For Good Morning America, Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
The aftermath of a powerful earthquake that has hit southern Japan. At least 9 people were killed and hundreds injured when the 6.4 magnitude tremor struck near Kumamoto City on the island of Kyushu. The fear is more people could be trapped under collapsed buildings. The epicenter was at a depth of 10 kilometers. The initial quake was followed by aftershocks measuring 5.7 and 6.4. I'm praying for the souls of those who perished in the earthquake, he says, and offering my sympathy to the families of the deceased, the injured, and those evacuated to safety. The government will do everything it can to rescue and help survivors. Our first priority is the safety of residents. People ran for cover as the quake struck. More than 12,000 homes have been left without electricity. Produce tumbled from shelves in shops. Officials say no damage has been reported at 3 nuclear plants on Kyushu and the nearby island of Shikoku. An estimated 3,000 troops, police and firefighters have been dispatched to the region from around Japan. The priority now is to help the 44,000 who've been left homeless, literally overnight.
Researchers have found a long tear in the surface of the Earth near the epicenter of Saturday's strongest quake. They believe it's a part of the fault that caused the jolt. Hiroshima University Professor Emeritus Takashi Nakata and his team have been examining the area. The deviation that runs through a rice paddy is about 1.2 meters wide. The Earth on one side of the line is elevated by 50 centimeters. On the neighboring row, the biggest crack is 2 meters wide. The height difference is 70 centimeters.
Es una ciudad turística que todo el mundo quería venir y disfrutar aquí del lugar, la tranquilidad que había aquí. Pedernales, esto es lo que queda, los escombros. Este es mi barrio y este es lo que queda, puros escombros, puras casas destruidas. El drama humano que se vivió aquí fue increíble, todos estamos devastados, todavía asumiendo, asimilando lo que ha pasado. Sí. Y cuando comenzó la cuestión, salimos del local y uno no se podía parar. Por la cuestión de la vibración, o sea, era que uno se tambaleaba feo y con mi hijo en brazos y uno no podía ir a ningún lado porque comenzaron a derrumbarse las casas al frente y los postes se movían fatal y sin saber para dónde correr porque todo alrededor comenzó a derrumbarse, todo. Acá había gente muerta, gente viva, enterrada, todavía pidiendo auxilio, gente con las piernas rotas, todo fue un drama, algo que no se puede describir porque es algo terrorífico.
It was a couple of weeks ago when Deputy Matthew Brakeman was on patrol in Hayden. He spotted a car going about 10 miles over the speed limit, so he pulled the driver over and initiated a traffic stop. He'd done this dozens of times before.
The driver was not very happy to be stopped, and so I spoke to her for a moment.
But this time, Brakeman could tell that something was different. In the passenger seat was the driver's mother.
And I asked where they were headed, and she said to the oncologist. And then she started to become a little bit emotional. And
the driver's mom had been battling cancer. It was another painful trip to the doctor's office. So Brakeman went back to his patrol car to collect his thoughts. He knew something more powerful than a ticket was needed here.
Then walked back up to the passenger side and asked her mother if she would accept prayer. And she said absolutely. And so we prayed and then told them to have a good day and went back to my car.
And that was that?
That was that.
Brakeman says he hasn't had any contact with that woman since. His kindness didn't go unnoticed, though. That woman took to the department's Facebook page, writing in part, quote, "Needless to say, I emotionally lost it. I don't know the officer's name that stopped me, but I want to thank him for his blessings and for hope." In talking with Brakeman, it's clear he didn't do this for just a thank you. His reason runs much deeper.
I lost my mom to cancer, and so I know the feeling.
A feeling that brought together, even for just a few minutes, this Kootenai County deputy, a woman he pulled over, and her mother fighting cancer, a feeling that didn't need to be fixed with a speeding ticket.
Because there's a letter of the law and there's a spirit of the law. And these particular folks, I don't think they were violating the spirit of the law, though they were violating the letter. I think they needed some love.